Hello, guys. Welcome to this section. And in today's class, we're looking at the Pythagorean Theorem. Now, the Pythagorean Theorem is a very vital theorem in mathematics. Now, these are our learning targets. We'll define this theorem and then define what a right angle triangle is, and then also be able to apply the Pythagorean theorem at the end of this lesson. And finally, identify some real life applications of this theory. So these are our learning targets. So let's keep this in mind as we proceed in this class. Now, the introduction to this topic is this. The Pythagorean theorem states simply that if you have a right angle triangle, the square of the hypotenuse side, which is the longest side, this side C in this triangle, is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, or what we call the legs. So A and B are the legs of this right angle triangle. So if you square these two sides and add them up, it will equal the square of this third side, which is the longest side. That is simply the Pythagorean theorem. Now let's take a look a bit, dive into the history of this theorem. Now, in the ancient Greek, there was a mathematician and a philosopher whose name is called Pythagoras. He invented this theory, and it is credited to him. He discovered the relationship between the right angle triangle in that manner, and he was able to show that the the longest side of the right angle triangle, if you square it, is equal to the sum of the square of the other two sides. And this theory gained prominence in back then in Italy. It was used somewhere in China, in Egypt. A lot of even in the Babylonian Empire, in their construction and all of the advancement they achieved, they used this theory, especially in construction of buildings and fortresses and all of that. So this theory is very vital in these fields. Now, let's see some visual proof to this theory. Now, if you look at this visual diagram here, you will see that this square has 3 by 3, which is 9. When you add them all together, that is 3 square. Then this one is a 4 square. It's a square made of 4 units. And then if you square it, you have 16. And this is a square made of 25 units, which is 5 each. So if you square it, you have 25. Now, this forms a right angle triangle. So it proves the Pythagorean theorem, and it shows that, okay, if you square 4, you have 16 plus 3 square, which is 9, you get 25, which is the hypotenuse. And there are different ways people have proved this theory also in the past, and a lot of them have given same opinion about the theory to be correct. And even in today's world, more more people are still finding way to prove this theory, and it's a very important theory in mathematics. Now let's look at understand how to understand the right angle. Now, a right angle triangle is a triangle which has one of the sides, the longest, which is the hypotenuse. Now, it has one of the angle to the 90 degree, and the angle which is 90 degrees facing the hypotenuse. So the two sides that form the right angle are called the legs. So these are the legs, this side and this side. These are the legs. Now, the opposite angle is called the hypotenuse. The opposite side, opposite side is called the hypotenuse. And then the angle opposite that is what we call the right angle. So a right angle creates many special relationships between the sides and angles of the triangle, and is the basis of the mathematical branch of trigonometry. So all of the proofs we have in trigonometry is derived from this right angle triangle. Now, using the Pythagorean theorem, if we have a triangle like this, first thing we do is to identify the two legs, and then identify which side is the hypotenuse and take note of their length. Then secondly, you need to determine which side you are trying to find. You need to know which side is the unknown. And thirdly, you just apply the formula, substitute the length into the Pythagorean theorem equation and solve for the missing value. So once you substitute, for example, if you are looking for C and you know A and B, just substitute A and B here and you get your C. Whichever term you are looking for, you can easily get it using the formula. Now, quickly, let's look at another way of using. Okay, let's look at the practical example here. So look at the right angle triangle here. So we identify this side as the hypotenuse, which is the longest side, the side facing the angle 90. These are the two legs, A and B. So we have been able to identify this is the first stage of using the theorem. Now the next stage is to find out which side is the unknown, which side are we trying to find. Now in this case, A is 8 inches, B is 15 inches, C is the unknown. So we have identified that we need to find the hypotenuse. And then lastly, you apply the formula. Substitute A and B into the question, the formula for the Pythagorean theorem. Length A, put it there, 8 square plus B square, which is 15 square, equals to C square. And C is the unknown. So when you square 8, you have 64. When you square 15, you have 225. And that will give us C square. Now adding 64 plus 225 will give you 289. And then take the square root of both sides and C will give us 17. So this is how we apply the Pythagorean theorem in solving problems. Now, take a look at some real life applications of this theory. The first application is in building and in architecture, as I said earlier in our introduction. A lot of the building and architectural work in Egypt, in China, in the early BCs were based on this theory. Now, we also use navigation and GPS system also uses this theory also, and even in games and sports, you know, real life application that applies this theory. You look at, you will begin to ask, how does one apply this theory in games and sport? Now, if you know this theory as a sportsman, you can you can you can apply it in such a way that in times of taking penalty kicks or taking free kicks, some of these tricks can be applied using Pythagorean theory, and you effortlessly score your goal. There's an angle you go, you tend to play the ball, and you will just likely score. The probability of scoring will be close to one because you have applied the theory accurately. You've calculated your hypotenuse. You know your the other two legs. Though in real practical calculation, it might be difficult to do this calculation in your head, but with practice, that is why these guys practice over and over. So with practice, they get better and better in applying some of this theory in these fields. Now, in summary, the Pythagorean theory describes the relationship between the two sides, between the sides of a triangle, the three sides of a triangle, the A, B, C, the two legs, and the hypotenuse. Now you can see we can also have what we call the angle here, from where we can get sine, cosine, and tangent, which is a topic for another day. Now, it can also be used to find the missing right of a right angle, any of the missing side of a right angle, which can be applied to solve many of the real life problems we spoke about. Understanding the Pythagorean theorem is a great foundation for learning trigonometry. Now, the distance formula and more also depends on this theory. We'll see all of this in subsequent classes. All right. Now, what other example do you think you can use Pythagorean theorem for in real life? Please drop your comments, drop your answers in the comment section. What area of real life application can we use the Pythagorean theory? I want to hear from you. I want to hear your views. I want to hear your contributions. Please like this video, subscribe, and share. And then drop your comments on this question in the comment section. And see you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.